Hello, everybody. Sarah here, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and we are here for our magical 2021 event. And this is wild. I'm live in all sorts of places, looking at two different cameras. And I'm going to try to stay super focused here. Now, if you are on our email list, you receive our emails, then earlier this week, you did receive a link for the printable worksheets. If you missed that email, you want to go fish it out, search the Sisters Enchanted in your spam folder, in your promotions folder, all of those places. We will also have this on our blog as a replay, and we'll have those worksheets linked up there. Now, because I'm live in so many places right now, I'm going to go ahead and say that I might be really bad at reading and responding to comments today. Normally, that's not a difficult thing for me, but I'm live in 4 different places, and I'm already struggling to figure out what it is I'm doing here. So I may not read all the comments, but I see that we have Christina saying hi in the comments, and we almost always have various members of the Sisters Enchanted family in there to help out. So I'm sure we'll have some eyes in there to answer any questions that might come up. If you are new to these parts and you have no idea who I am or you haven't seen me in a while, I'm Sarah. I am the founder of the Sisters Enchanted. We have been doing online activities, community courses, programming since 2016. We will be 5 years old in May and just a few months. And we've had tens of thousands, actually over 100,000 people come through our free programs. And we've had upwards of 8,000 maybe even people join us in our online programming. So I'm really excited to bring you Magical 2021 because we have been doing this now for the past few years. And right before I got started, I actually pulled out my worksheets from 2020 so that I could reflect on this. We've moved offices a couple times in the last few years, so I can't find 2019, though I know I have it somewhere. And we believe that when more people follow their intuition, conjure more joy, and make everyday magic, the world is a better place. So thank you all for hanging with me today. Again, we are here for visioning our magical 2021. The worksheets were emailed out this week. If you're on our email list, it might have landed in your spam folder, your promotions folder. And if you don't have it, just go ahead and we will put this up on our blog sometime within the next 48 hours. I'm sure it will land up there with transcriptions or captioning rather, and the printables. All right, so what is it that we are doing here for Magical 2021? What this is, I will talk through all of the worksheets as we go through it. I've already done mine so that I have the fresh experience of doing it. Really, but what this is all about is considering your vision for 2021. One of the things that I am very, very passionate about is the importance of finding one vision or one intention for your life. So many of us, we try to, whatever your way of bringing things about is, whether you call that manifesting or spell work or prayer or whatever it is for you. Everybody here might believe a little bit differently. Whatever that looks like for you, we often try to do 100 things at once. We want to make more money. We want to save more money. We want to declutter our houses. We want to have better relationships. We want to lose weight. We want to do all of these things at one time. And ultimately, when you're trying to do all of these things at one time, you're really never doing anything well. And your intention is spread so thin that it's actually very difficult to bring anything into being. So think of intention and energy like spider webs, right? Now, if you are just focusing here and there and everywhere and shooting spider webs out like Spider-Man or like some great wise spider all over the place, there's no web. It's just the stuff stuck all over the place. And that's what it's like when you are setting 100 different goals, 100 different intentions. Your energy is just tossed this way and that way, attempting to bring things into being. Whereas if you focus on one vision and you build this beautiful web, and the web has layers to it, right? It has more than one string of web. I feel like I should figure out what these actual terms are before I keep using this metaphor. But it's not just one, it's all of them put together into this beautiful piece with layers, with depth, and it's a work of art at the end. And that's what it's like when you have one vision. You're working on one web of one vision with different layers to it, as opposed to all of these different things. And that's what a vision is. A vision is more than your list of goals or your list of things you're going to create for yourself. It's this vision of where you want to be. And then how that comes to being is going to look like the goals that you set throughout a year. It's going to look like the intentions that you work with every lunar cycle. And that's how you're going to spider silk. That's how you're going to build the artwork that is this web, rather than just shooting randomly and hoping something sticks. All right. Now, as we start this magical 2020 visioning, I want you to think back for a second on 2020. As we walk through this, if you have the worksheets, at the end, you will have an idea as to what your vision might be. You might want to sit with this for a few days. If you're a person who works with Yule as the new year, you've got a couple of weeks still, or the calendar new year, you've got plenty of time. We've got a new moon coming up in a week or so. So lots of opportunities here to start fresh, start a new intention, all of that good stuff. So I want you to think for a little bit about 2020. Now, this is a loaded question. In any other year, asking what is it that did not serve you this year? I feel like we have a lot of things that happened to us. 2020 is a whole can of worms with that question. So I really want you to just consider 2020, and I want you to consider yourself. Maybe exclude all of the other things, but really looking at yourself in 2020 and what came to light for you as something that didn't work, something that you definitely don't want to carry forward. Now, again, I know that this is a loaded question due to the nature of 2020, but there's a lot that we could have experienced in 2020 that we didn't realize before. Maybe the nature of our family life, we realize just doesn't work when everything comes crashing down around us. Maybe we realize that our financial situation is not what we thought it was when the world comes crashing down around us. Maybe we realize something about friends and family that we never realized before, or about our own resilience, or our own prowess for manifesting in some area. Whatever that is, just sort of think about 2020. And I love the idea of starting with what did not work well, and what do you definitely don't want more of. And for me, actually, when I looked at my magical 2020, so when I did this a year ago versus what I did before we started today, they're actually very similar. And for a lot of you may relate to this, where you find yourself setting a similar intention, a similar vision, a similar goal year after year after year, and thinking, well, I'm never accomplishing it. I never do it. It's never working for me. But I want you to consider in those moments what steps you did take. So for me, when I do tell you what mine is, I have the same intention, the same vision, intention word for 2021 as I did for 2020. And I did create more of that in 2020, though I see where I continued to not work towards that vision, and where I need more support in working toward the vision, where I could be really focusing that energy, because I focused it in one area this year, and for 2021, I want to focus it in another area. So if you find yourself thinking like, actually, it's the same as it's always been for me, that's okay. I'm in that same boat too. And it's a matter of looking at, well, what didn't work to get me there? So that could be something you consider as well. Is just start thinking about 2020 and what's definitely not working for you. Now, the reason that I am inviting you to set a vision for 2021 as opposed to an intention, which your vision really is like an intention here when we get to the end of the process, but rather than another goal or something like that, is because, again, you need to know your vision. You need to know where you're going in one vision, and everything needs to go with that vision, right? And that's going to help you to make decisions every day when you know what your vision is. If you don't know what your vision is, it's very challenging to make decisions that are in alignment with where you want to be, because you don't know where you want to be. So figuring out that vision, even if it's a very broad vision, helps you to make decisions, helps you to know what to say yes to, what to say no to. If you're a person who sets out sacred space, creates altar spaces, you work with the new moons and full moons around intention setting and manifesting and release, whatever this looks like in your life and in your practice, knowing what that grander vision is, where you're headed to with your beautiful spider web, it's going to help you to actually make change and bring things into being. It's going to help you to be your most powerful self and create what it is that you want to create, because you know what that vision is, as opposed to just finding yourself at a new moon and saying, oh my gosh, I've been fighting with my partner and I'm just going to release that fighting and hope for the best. And that's going to be my intention for this cycle, right? Or if you find yourself cash strapped or in a money situation or something like that, and then you're just randomly trying to pull out of thin air a manifestation for money. We really want you to know what this vision is, and you can start acting in accordance with that vision and that vision only. All right. And then it helps you with your mindset too, because when you know what your vision is and you see yourself have maybe missteps away from that vision, or something doesn't go the way you want it to go, you can really kind of guide yourself through that, be your own best friend, be your own ally. And that, any of you who've taken Expedition to Soul with us, it's our free class that starts again in 10 days, actually. It's amazing. I can't even say how amazing it is, but so keep your eyes peeled for that. So being your own ally is part of that program that we invite people to do that exercise. And when you know what your vision is, and you did something or took an action that's not in alignment with that vision, you can better guide yourself to being in that vision. All right, let me just 1 second here. I've lost my Instagram. And I don't know, I think maybe I just have to, I don't know, it says it's reconnecting, but maybe I should just stop it. I probably should have had somebody here helping me out. I'm just going to let it be, although it's staring me in the face and it's it's stressing me out that it says paused. Anyway, okay. So no, you know what? I'm going to stop it. Are you sure? No, cancel. I don't want to end it. Am I back? I don't know if I'm back. Anywho, we'll continue on. So this is why we want a vision, right? And that's why I'm not asking you to set a goal. It's why I'm not asking you to figure out a list of things you want to do or create a vision board or anything like that, because first you really need to dial in on what that vision is. And that's what we're going to do today. All right, so part 1 of our experience here. And again, if you don't have the worksheets, you can check your spam folder or your promotions folder. We did email them out earlier this week. And I think on Friday, perhaps, or Thursday, I'm unsure which day, but we will link these up on a blog post with the replay of this video, and we'll get captions on the video and everything for you in the next 48 hours over on our blog. So the first part of the process here with your vision is to consider what your big vision is for life. Now, this is a lot like intention setting when it comes to one word that I want you to set for your vision. Now, I start this by thinking about what it is that I want to do. And I'm going to give you insight. This is actually what I wrote down. And anybody who's been following us for a while, not that you remember my visions from last year, but it's very similar to last year. My big vision for life is to travel. That's for number 1. I definitely want to travel. Oh, I did lose my Instagram. Let's start it back again. I don't know what's happening there. I never go live on Instagram. Rarely. I don't actually know what's happening. So my big vision is to travel. I definitely want to travel. I want to homeschool. I do homeschool right now. My daughter, she's only 6 though, and then I have a 3-year-old. So it's like very easy peasy, but I'd like to continue doing that. And I want to, in terms of what I do for work, which is the Sisters Enchanted, I want to help other people to be more intuitive, more confident, and send more wealthy witches out into the world to make change, and put cool stuff out there. That's something I'm really passionate about. So that's my big vision, right? All of these things. And when I think about all of these things and how I can make them come into being, I want to consider to myself, I don't know what's happening here. I'm still trying to fix Instagram. I want to consider for myself what it is that I need in my life in order for that to happen, right? What is it that I need in my life for that to happen? Instagram's just going away. And for me to make that happen, I need space. I need space in my life so that I can travel. I need space in my life so that I can homeschool. I need space so that I can create the programs I want to create and so that I can have time to be more with community, guide more people into their future here at the Sisters Enchanted. All of that requires space. So when I think about what I need to travel, what I need to homeschool, what I need to do what it is that I want to do for the world and make change here at the Sisters Enchanted, that requires space. And I want to feel spacious in doing that. I want to feel like not constricted when I wake up in the morning and think to myself, oh, I have to go to work today. I never want to think that. And I actually never do think that. To be very honest, I've never thought, I'm like, I wish I could get to work because I've got so many ideas. But I want to feel like, yeah, we're hitting the road for another trip, or yeah, it's homeschool morning. I'm so excited. I want to feel spacious doing all of those things. So for me, the word spacious is my vision word for 2021. Now, you might not know that right away. There is another page where we're going to sort of dial down on this a little bit more. But if you can think of a word, so think of the big vision, all of the things you would love to see in your life. And a vision doesn't have to be right now. It can be so far off that it feels impossible, right? It can feel so like it's, just never, you're like, oh, that's way too big. That'll never happen for me. That's okay to have that in your vision. For me, for example, travel, we travel right now a lot locally, like a lot of the East Coast US, not really past Illinois ever do we go. And so we get a little bit of travel in. My big vision is to travel the world. And that's not happening today, certainly not this year. It probably isn't happening next year. My kids are still young, maybe not even the year after that, but that is on my vision, right? And so it's still on there. So yes, I see space, I see expansion. That was my word for this year too, was spacious. And I wanted slower days, less commitments, and 2020 definitely delivered that to me inadvertently. Right, so your big vision, and then take all of these things and considering how would you feel doing those, and what do you need to make that happen, right? And again, because I can put on here travel, homeschool, creating more confident, witchy women out in the world. That's a lot of stuff. So for me to do that, I need to feel spacious. Okay, now when I think about that for my life, now I want to think about 2021. And that is the next prompt on here, is what's your big vision for 2021? So now we know about our life. And again, I have on here travel, homeschool. Homeschool is probably not going to look that different for me next year. My daughter will only be 7. I look at travel, it's probably not going to be that much different next year. So I need to think about 2021 and what's my big vision for there. And while my vision for life is spaciousness, for 2021, my sort of thing that I think I need is better boundaries. Boundaries around my time, boundaries with myself and how I spend my time. I have some number goals for next year in terms of finances, and I want to feel like my home life feels easy. Right now, my home life often feels scattered, chaotic, and sort of challenging to move through the day sometimes, which I'm sure everybody here can relate to. So for 2021, this vision includes all of these different things, some boundaries. Again, I've got financial goals, and then feeling easy in my home life. Now I want to ask myself, if my vision, this is part number 3 here, are your 2021 visions in alignment with your life visions? So some of us might say that, well, for life, my big vision for life is to start. Okay, this would be wild. If someone's big vision is to start an animal sanctuary, that's not my big vision. I love animals, but I will donate to somebody else's sanctuary. I'm not starting one. So if your big vision is to start an animal sanctuary or like a dog rescue or something like that, right? Maybe that's your big vision. Maybe mine's a word. Maybe yours is like an actual thing that you want to do. But then your big vision for 2021 is to eat healthier. Now, those are both great visions. But if you're like, I wish I could start an animal sanctuary. I wish I could save all these animals. If that's your life vision, how are your visions for 2021 aligning to that? Now, you might want to eat healthier, but you want to ask yourself why. Is it because maybe right now your health habits are, in my family, for example, so we're self-employed, we don't actually have health insurance. Being in the US as a self-employed person, that's a challenge. So we don't have health insurance. So it could be that if my big vision was to start an animal sanctuary, and maybe our health habits are costing us a lot of money medically every year because of things that we're not taking care of or that we could be doing differently, that's money away from that vision of the animal sanctuary, right? So then that would be in alignment, because really I want to cut back on medical expenses by being healthier so that I can make that life vision come into fruition faster. And so then we want to consider the alignment of these. So is what you want for 2021 in alignment with your life vision? So when I think of spaciousness for 2021 and my boundaries to protect my spaciousness, different financial goals, feeling easy in my home life, I want to feel spacious, to have more time for rhythms, more confident in my boundary setting, a variety of different things I wrote down here. But I want to think about what I want for 2021 and make sure it's aligning to that life, that overall vision of spaciousness for me. So whatever your big vision is, what you choose for 2021 in your 2021 vision, is that in alignment with that bigger thing, right? Is it in alignment with the bigger thing? So start considering that, because one of the reasons that so many people struggle with goal setting and then to get witchy with it, manifesting and spell work or whatever you want to call that thing, working with universal energy to bring things into being, co-creating with the universe for yourself. We aren't successful or find short-term success rather than long-term success because we're all over the place. So having an idea of where you want to go, that bigger vision, and then what you're doing right now, is it in alignment to get you there, right? All right. And then consider how your current situation is playing into the bigger vision. Now, my current situation, I wrote down 3 things. I'm overscheduling, which was one of my, for 2020, I did not want to do that. And I stopped overscheduling in some areas, but continued doing it in others, or started doing it more in others. So it was like, I stopped here. So then I was like spacious enough to overschedule here now. I often resist the easy way. I will keep trying to do things myself, even when there's other people who I could be having do this for me. Now, and as the head of the Sisters Enchanted, we have a team of 6 here. We've got several co-teachers. I have my mother. She's part of my team. She is a paid person on my team to help me manage home life and things like that. And I often don't delegate. I resist the easy way. I still try to do it myself. So I still overschedule. I resist the easy way. But one positive about my current situation is I am quick to make changes. So I wrote down for the bottom part here, how does your current situation play into your bigger vision? What is it that you're doing? And takeaways from my bigger vision, my overscheduling, my resisting the easy way, but one that helps with my bigger vision, I am quick to make changes. Where in the past, I would ride something out just hoping it would get better. And now I am much faster at pivoting and saying, hey, that's not working. Or look, I'm just taking my own spaciousness. I need to I think I'm back. All right, we're good. My internet troubles, it kicked me off Instagram too. I'm sitting right next to the modem, and we have like super fast, powered, strong business internet that is like a small fortune every month. So I don't understand why it doesn't work well. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. I hope we all, now I'm going to get the flood of Frozen. I think we're back. Okay, cool. Because there is a delay. So by the time I start talking, that's when I'm going to start seeing all the Frozen comments. All right. So part 1 is really thinking about your vision for life, your vision for 2021. Are these in alignment with one another? and how your current situation is playing into the bigger vision here. All right, now we're on to part 2. So part 2 is where we really start to look at what we really get nitty gritty with here. Like we're really going to roll our sleeves up and get into this. Now at the top of your part 2, there is a long space across the top. That is where I write my big vision. So my big vision is spaciousness. And this can change over time, but right now it's spaciousness. And because, remember I explained in the beginning that the spider web, it's this beautiful layered work of art. It's not just one spider silk, as several of you let me know that's what it is, a spider silk. It's not just one, it's this layered piece of art. And that's how our lives are. They're layered pieces of art. If you're here, you probably wear a million hats. You are yourself. You might be a sister, a mother, whatever. You're a coworker, you're a manager, you're all kinds of things. We don't just wear one hat. And that's where we're gonna put our web together here. So I have spaciousness across the top of mine. And this can be your 2021 vision. It can be your life vision if they're really in alignment with one another, which they should be. Whatever works for you, but basically your overarching, if this is the bullseye of your dartboard, the center of your spider web, that's going to go at the top here. Now for me, I think that most of us, if you are a person who works and then you have a personal life, for most people, you spend half your time working, right? You spend a large chunk of time working. So that would probably be one half. The other half would probably be like your personal life stuff. But maybe for you, if you are a person who doesn't work, this could be yourself versus your family. Really, what are the biggest chunks of your energy do you feel like? For me, this is family and home and then business. These are my 2 biggest chunks. So my spaciousness, I'm going to look at in 2 chunks here, my family and home life and my business life. And so I put those to narrow this down further. Now, once again, even those are more layered. Those aren't cut and dry. So for each of those, it gets a little complicated. I'm no graphic designer. But on each section, you have 2 more arrows that this will break down into. And here, for my family and home, I have homeschool and then I have stuff, because those tend to be the things that make my life feel less spacious. I can't see it's just telling me Facebook user, not your name, but someone says, now take your business with you for sure. So many options, a little space. Yeah, you've got to get very clear on one thing. That is a game. I'm telling you, people ask me all the time. I homeschool, I work part-time. Anybody who's a business owner knows you pretty much you breathe your business. Like that never stops. My desk hours though, I only have about 16 desk hours a week, unless it's a special project week. Otherwise, everything else just happens like when it happens. I squeeze a little in the morning, a little at night, like when my kids are having their lunch or quiet time. But I only have 16 scheduled desk hours a week. I homeschool. I do have a lot of help at this point. But getting super, super focused is how I manage all of that. That's how I do it. All right. So for me, homeschool and stuff, that's my family. My 2 biggest things that take away from spaciousness. Carol says I seem to be working all the time. Yeah, I'm not really. So spaciousness in those 2. And then with the other side with business, my 2 areas for spaciousness are revenue, because obviously I have a team. Like I said, we have a core team of 6 here. We've got part-time teachers. We have a 7th team member. And so, everybody needs to be able to get paid. So revenue. And then our community. So this kind of stuff, that's community. And I want to make sure that I feel spacious in community here. So I have revenue and community, and then homeschool and stuff. Carol says, and just the planning that goes into doing one session like this. And Carol and the person whose name I can't see, I will say that this is what happens though when you get laser focused. I've done this same workshop 3 years in a row now. So I know this like the back of my hand. I just come in here, pour my coffee and get to getting. And that's what happens when you're laser focused and you do, one thing, and it becomes way easier. All right. So when I look at homeschool now, I've got 3 areas down here. Oh, Erica said, hi, Erica. It's depending on where you're commenting, it won't tell me your name. Okay, so with homeschool, the things that I need to work on to help me feel more spacious, I've now broken those down. For me, that's weekly prep. So I do go through every week, and every week I fill out a homeschool planner with a list of things we're going to do. I plan my whole Sisters Enchanted week. Everything gets planned out. But what I don't do for homeschool is set up our supplies. And that is what trips me up during the week. So I need weekly prep needs to be tightened up. A list of tech how-tos. So for me, I have all these resources that my mom or my husband could be using with the kids when I am working. Because when I'm with them, I like to do hands-on things, not put them on iPads and things. But nobody else knows how to find those apps and those games. Nobody else knows what they are. Nobody knows the passwords and logins. So I need to teach people how to do that because they can be doing that. And then more obvious transitions. We struggle with that in our house. And then with stuff, using the essentialism principle with items. So is this essential? Do I already have something like it? Do I already have something that could fulfill this purpose? Now, I don't buy a lot of stuff by any means because we do have a small house and we do like to get out and travel in our camper and see different places. But I don't get rid of stuff as much as I probably should. So considering that, having a weekly declutter routine, and then better utilizing my storage space. We have a whole walk-up attic that is barely used. So I took my vision of spaciousness, my 2 areas, and then I broke it down, those 2 areas, each of those into 2 areas, and then exactly what it looks like, exactly what needs to happen to create that spaciousness. So rather than starting with rogue goals, I started with a vision. And my vision is spaciousness. And now I'm breaking that down into different steps here. And I've done the same on the business side. So when you look at this vision now, and when I look at my vision, while there are all of these little intricacies to it, I always know in any situation, is this getting me to my vision of feeling spacious in my life? Everything that I come up against, yes or no? And if it's a no, it needs to be changed. And here I've specifically looked at some things that need to happen for that, right? So that's the next step, is your big vision. And then the 2 places in your life where you spend the most time, whatever that is for you, whether it might be caretaking for elderly parents. I know that we have some in our community who full-time take care of elderly parents. Maybe you're a stay-at-home parent. Maybe you work 4 different part-time jobs, and like just jobs in general takes up all your time, whatever that is. And then break those up into 2 smaller areas, and then each of those into what needs to happen to make this happen, make that vision happen. All right, that's part 2. Part 3 of Magical 20. I didn't edit this one. It says 2020 still. Anyway, I should say 2021. Now this is a blank sort of sheet here with 2 columns. And what I did is on one column, again, wrote that family home. And on the other column, I wrote business, because those are my 2 big chunks of time. My entire life is spent in those 2 things, right? And I went through, and you can do a couple of things here. You can either just take the 6 really narrowed down things from each group and copy them over, and then you have them in a nice list right in front of you. Or you can use this and write yourself journal prompts or affirmations, questions to ask if you go through here. What I did is sort of a combination of, of looking through my 6 narrowed down items, things that need to happen to get to spaciousness. And I made a list of things that need to happen consistently for that spaciousness to occur. Christina says, I just want to be free. Yes, I do just want to be free. Which is another thing about being a business owner, though, right? Is that obviously I have to pay myself, but I will pay myself less if I think that hiring another person to create me more time is going to be helpful. And so, yeah, that's what I want, time. That's what I want, is time. And it's the one thing you can't get more of is time, right? You got to create it for yourself. You've got to take the time that you want. So I went through and wrote a list of things that need to happen. So to feel spacious in my family and home, this looks like a weekly declutter, having a weekly schedule, which I already do that, but I want to reinforce that, keep doing it. homeschool setup I need to do, doing a money essentialism review. So one thing that I am not super great at is looking at what we're spending money on and whether or not we need to be spending money on those things. And which doing that though, that idea of spaciousness, it will help me to get to a more spacious feeling faster, because we do have financial goals we want to hit, as does everybody. You should have financial goals. We should all have financial goals. We're going to be wealthy witches here. We need financial goals. And I need to know, where is this money going and where could it be going? A time essentialism review, where is my time going and where could it be going? And then a healthy habits review, because I tend to fall into not healthy habits, which make me feel yucky in my body. And then that's not good for anybody. And I have the same for business, looking at some numbers, asking myself, can this be delegated? Every time I sit down to do something, ask, can this be delegated? Which I've been getting better at. And then a couple of other things that I have on here, right? So I took these pieces and I've listed them out as to checklist items that need to happen. So I've taken my vision and started to form it into a goal or a series of goals. Next is our little cauldron here. And in our cauldron, we are going to put in the cauldron everything that's not working for us or anything that needs to be transformed into something else. So I want spaciousness. So what's in my cauldron? Overscheduling is in my cauldron. Paying attention to what others think is in my cauldron, which I don't do often. But I will do it in terms of like family members. I don't want to say I get concerned about what they think, but I will hold myself back if I think that a family member might have something to say. And in my case, a lot of this comes with visibility and being more visible, which seems like wild to be more visible than I already am, but being visible and making money, because my family is not a strong financially fit background. I don't come from a financially fit background of people, and spending money, earning money, it often becomes like this weird, I get these weird looks from people. So paying attention to what other people think. Multitasking, I should really stop multitasking. I do too much of that, and then I'm never really present. I am, but I'm not. Feeling like I have to do it all. Again, that comes to delegating, releasing expectation, and undervaluing myself in general. So all that's going to go into the cauldron. All of this, I don't want any more of this, and I'm going to transform it into this. So we put things into a cauldron, they get transformed, transmuted into something else, and mine's going to come out as spaciousness. Now, what you can do with this activity is you can actually do, this is the cool page where if you do a little ritual, or you set yourself up an altar space, or you want to actually write these on a piece of paper and burn them in a cauldron, or hold a bay leaf with each one and with the intention, and then put it into a pot of soup, for example, make the soup, and then it's transformed into the delicious, nourishing soup. So many cool things you could do. So you can actually make this into a tangible activity that you do. Next is considering your word of the year. So this is a little bit backwards, but I like doing it this way because it really helps you to gain clarity on what this is. So your vision might be different than your word of the year. Mine's the same. It's spaciousness, same as it was last year, more spaciousness. But I like it here because now that I've considered, what's not working, what needs to change in order to bring more into my life of what I want, I'm going to look at how do I want to feel, what do I need, and what do I want. So I want to feel at ease. I want to just feel like life's never always going to be easy, right? There's always going to be things about life that are hard. That is life. That we're humans, we have shadow work to do. This is all very shadow worky also. There's so much shadow work ingrained in here. If you start considering why it is that your vision isn't why you're not at your vision, there's a lot of shadow work goes in here. Like me, for example, with my overscheduling, there's shadow work to be done there, because why do I consistently overschedule myself? That is shadow work that has to be done. If I could just say, I need to stop doing that, and then I just stop doing it, great. It was just a bad habit I had to change. But no, for the last few years, I've said I need to stop overscheduling myself, yet I consistently do it. Why? There's shadow work there. So I want to feel at ease. I need rhythm. I need better rhythm to my days, to my weeks. I need that. And I want freedom. I want to feel like I can be financially free. I want to feel like I can be free with my time, free with my family. That's what I want. And spaciousness. All of this comes back down to spaciousness for me. All right. The last page, once you've gone through all of this, and again, yeah, there will be a replay, and we'll put the worksheets on the blog also. Sorry, drink some beverages there. The last page is about your mornings. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this idea of a morning routine because I do have 2 young kids. So I know that the concept of having a morning routine is this like crazy out there gold standard that does anybody, like, who can actually do that? Or people who have to work. Like, I understand all of that. I fully understand all of that. And I'm not here to tell you that you need to get up at 4:30 a.m. just to have yourself a morning routine. I'm not here to tell you that at all. I will say, though, that how you spend your mornings will impact the rest of your day. And doing what we can do to make mornings magical and make them in alignment with our vision is really important, right? So for me, this is what this looks like. The first question is, how can you incorporate some magic into your morning? And I wrote down exercise, delegate, and hydrate. Because when I exercise, I do feel way better. If you've listened to any of our podcast episodes, you've been following us for any period of time, I've shared openly in the past that I have struggled in the past with anxiety, depression, and exercise. It's something that I've really made a habit this year in 2020. And I will tell you that my general disposition is like night and day when I exercise every single day. Like just completely night and day. So exercise for me is really, really important. Delegating something. I need to delegate something every single day to somebody else because I am a homeschool mom. I am the person who does the most caring for my kids, and I am the owner of a business, and like a real full-fledged business. That's a lot. That's a lot for any person to handle. So I need to delegate something straight out of the gate every morning and make sure it's delegated. Like if I think of my to-do list and I have 20 things, I need to delegate something straight away and just get it off my plate. And I need to hydrate because I do drink way more caffeine than I should. So I'm going to do that. So what this looks like for me is I have this bookshelf in my living area, which is also where I exercise. And I do that most mornings. But right now it's got like some kids stuff on it and like little tchotchkes that nobody looks at. You know, they just sit there and I move them around every once in a while. But I'm going to clear that off. And I'm going to make a little altar space there specifically for exercise, delegate, hydrate. I don't know what's going to be on it yet. Maybe I'll put like a vessel on there to represent the hydrating. I don't know, something. But I'm going to actually make a sacred space right there so that I see it every day. There's no way I can miss it because it's like the focal point of our living space. Exercise, delegate, hydrate. It's going to be right there. And that is going to help me focus on doing these things and remind me of my spaciousness. What I'll probably also do is make a little something like this too and put these words in something, or I'll burn them in there and leave the ashes. I'll do something, I'm not quite sure what, a little ritual for myself though, maybe at the new year to remind myself of this, of what I'm working on. And then there is just 3 little trackers down here, some habit trackers for you if you're into habit tracking. And you can color one in each day. Do it for 3 months. Try to make a habit out of it. And all of this is going to help me get to my vision, my magical 2021 of more spaciousness and that life vision, right? And so what you did not see here is 800 goals. I did not set a goal to lose 10 pounds. I did not set a goal to be able to, I don't know, whatever. There are goals I have. Like when I exercise, I'm completely winded and out of stamina in like 20 minutes. And I've exercised consistently for months. So I would love to be able to feel really great and just at 45 minutes be like, hey, this feels awesome. But right now, I just want to feel spacious in a few areas of my life. I want to, and those are very specific, right? those are not, they're not all of this list of stuff that's way too hard for me to manage energetically. Too many things. And I see everybody who have cats as alarm clocks. My cats, they scratch the bedroom door every morning, wake us up. It's very unpleasant. So this whole thing, and then I have this vision and my word of the year to use as a filter for everything that I'm doing. And if you do start to set yourself goals that are like, okay, I'm not going to spend any money in the next month. I'm not going to go to Target ever. And I'm going to save $100 a week. Like that doesn't feel spacious. Of course, you should have financial goals, but what would feel spacious? Would it feel spacious? Probably to know how to manage money. It would probably feel spacious instead of trying to save $100 a week. It might feel spacious to like, what would really feel spacious in the long run? Would it be to get a raise at work? Would that feel spacious? And often it's easier to make more money actually than it is to try to save coins here and there. So figuring out what would feel spacious in the situation for me. So whatever your vision is, if your vision, I saw some words before like expansion and peace, you know, what would bring those things to your life? And then all of the everything else, all these little goals that you would set for yourself. I'm gonna, you know, like this is one that I do. We're gonna eat dinner from home. We're gonna cook home dinners 5 nights in a row. Now, anybody who knows me knows I don't like to cook. I don't like to cook. My husband's a stay-at-home dad, but he gets very overwhelmed with the kids. And so it is not, you know, it's a lot of days that we end up picking something up to eat, ordering something, grabbing something like, you know, half already prepared at a grocery store or whatever. So us having like really to say, for me to say, I'm going to cook at home 5 nights in a row, that does not feel spacious at all because that really stresses me out. Like, do I have the right food? Is someone going to be home in time? What's the recipe? Where are all the things? Is the kitchen counter cleaned off? So for me, I would want to consider that. But if maybe your vision is to be a homesteader, maybe your vision is like, I want to be a homesteader, and that's your big vision. And so for you, that would help you feel that way. Right? So you want to consider your vision. And it's this idea I had of the animal sanctuary before. If you want to have an animal sanctuary, you know, and any choices that come up with you, how is that helping you with your big vision? And start filtering it through there, you know, start filtering it through. Now for me, so that I don't lose this, I have my Living Your Lunar Year planner that we make. And it's not a planner, it's a notebook sort of. I did a video and shared it, but you may not see it. This was my Scorpio. I did this actually at the Gemini full moon, but it's for this lunar cycle. And I put in things I wanted to transform about myself and then some pictures of what I want to have. Anywho, what I did is there's a intention spot in the front where you can write your intentions out, but rather than doing that, I taped an envelope in here. And I am going to keep my worksheets. I'm just going to fold them up because they won't fit. It's probably way craftier witches out there watching this that are like, I would make such a cool thing. And I'm just going to stick mine in here in the intention page. And then when I'm working on my lunar intentions every single lunar cycle, I have it right there to consider what it is that I want to set an intention for. Because one of the things that we work with both lunar intentions and solar goal setting. So when I have in here is my lunar intentions, and then I look at my solar, we actually have a solar goal setting spot. I can look at how do I want to feel specifically this lunar cycle to help me get to that vision, right? And then what are those tangible goals that need to happen? What are those things that are very checklist sort of items that are going to help me to get to where I want to go? But knowing that vision is what's going to help make a difference for you, as opposed to just waking up one day and saying like, what is my current problem? Like, what is my thing today? You know, someone's not listening, someone's causing a problem in your life. You've done something you're not happy with, like whatever it is for you. We often will set a goal, or we will set a lunar intention, or do something at a full moon completely at random based on what's happening in our lives today, instead of where do we want to be and how is what's happening today taking away from that or contributing to that. So always asking, where do I want to be? Where do I want to be? What's that vision? What's that filter? And that's too how I think that that's, it's very practical, but also with all of the magical things that we do. This is one of the things I come up against a lot, because I see in our world of the Sisters Enchanted, we do work with the moon. We have tarot. We have, just all these different modalities that we go through, divination. And then those of you who are in our membership program, like there's 100 lessons in there and 100 different things, and astrology and whatever. And it's just all of this stuff. But how do you bring it together to make change? And I think that that's always stepping back and saying, I have all of these tools about me. This is my vision. Which tool is going to help me right now get me to the vision? But knowing what that vision is, and then doing all the things, setting the sacred space, charging the crystals, going on the meditative nature walks, working with the moon cycles. All of that works when you know what it is that you want to be, when you know where you want to go. And even if you don't know how to get there, you know where you want to go, and you can start to ask yourself, is what I just did, is what I'm experiencing right now, or what I'm putting my energy toward, is it getting me where I want to be? Even if you don't know how to get there, right? Sorry, my bra straps on this day keep falling down. I just keep fixing them. And I hear this a lot with business owners, because I do have the business witchery program here. And I hear this a lot where people, like, they know, I want to do this thing, but they have no idea how to get there, and then get caught up on the details of how to get there. Like, well, I need this perfect website, or I need to do this thing just right, or whatever. And then I see this too with people in terms of finances or health goals or relationship goals. Like, you want this perfect thing. None of us know how to get anywhere until once you're there, you can look back and say, oh, I know. Now I know how to get there because I did it. But until you're there, it's your life and you're the only one living your life. Nobody can tell you exactly. Nobody can give you that first you're going to do this, then you're going to do this. It's never going to work out that way, because your life is unique to you. Your life is not the same as anybody else's, right? So somebody could tell me, like, this was the thing I found in the world of business anyway. It was all the advice that I ever got from people were from people whose kids went to school full time or who had daycare, right? And I am built a successful business while being home with my kids most of the time. And so anybody's advice that they would give me, I was always like, well, that's not going to work for me, because my life doesn't look anything like yours. Like, you can give me these steps, but it doesn't work. And that's the same with anything. Anybody else can give you, like, somebody gives me healthy eating tips, and I'm like, well, that's great, but my husband does our grocery shopping, and he does not like to eat those foods, and so he's not buying them. And so my life looks different. So when you think of your vision, it's okay that you have no idea how to get there, because nobody knows how they're going to get to their vision. Nobody knows that. You just start asking yourself, what is my vision? And then everything that you're doing, does it feel like it's contributing to your vision, or like it's taking away from it? Those are questions to start asking yourself, which is why I love working with visions and intentions. And then secondarily, those little goals, because we often, we set those goals first thinking that's what we need, but we don't know what's next most of the time. So what's your vision? And then what's your intention for a very short period of time? And then your next intention and your next. And it's just to keep growing and growing and moving, right? And just keep going. All right, let me go through some of the comments that I see here. I'm so bummed our Instagram feed cut out. Let's see here. Yeah, everybody's up. I hear you, kids. I hear you, kids. Solidarity with all of you who are up every day with children. I am too. I get up with my kids every morning. That's my thing. And they're up very early. All right, let's see here. The Living Your Lunar Year. If you go to thesistersenchanted.com/last chance, we have 3 different programs that are last chanced for this year, and Lunar Year is one of them. Patty says, I recently discovered Moon Salutation yoga sequence. Great way to get some movement incorporated in the evening. I love that. Patty is a happiness coach and one of our magical mentors. So thanks for chiming in, Patty. Yes, there will be a replay. You'll be able to watch it here on Facebook, and then we will also, or on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll upload it to our website at thesistersenchanted.com/blog, and we will have it captioned there and also have the link to the printable, but that might take us up to 48 hours. Let's see here. Yes. What is it? Oh, I keep tapping comments. Oh, hide. Sherry says, learn so much in the short time. Thanks for sharing that. Let's see. Desiree says, I find knowing where I want to go is the hardest, right? Once I know where I want to go, the path starts to show itself. Exactly. And that's what's helpful with a vision too. I think I was just telling Anna and actually Christina, who's here in the comments the other day, that oh my gosh, what am I doing? I had no idea what the Sisters Enchanted would become. I just had a vision for the people I wanted to be with and how I wanted my life to look, and that I wanted to change the world. That was my vision, but I wasn't sure how. And that's the thing, is you just sort of, once you set the vision and start asking yourself that question, is this action getting me to my vision? That's when you start to bring things into being. Jenny, are there still specific groups for each class? Been a long time. Hi, Jenny. There is a group for Tarot Throwdown, Jenny, that it'll be in your class site, the link for that. There's not a group for Lunar Year, but you can share or ask questions in our free Expedition to Soul class. So we have a Facebook group for Tarot Throwdown. We have our free Expedition to Soul group, Facebook group. For the free Expedition to Soul class, we have our Enchanted Journey membership group, Holistic Witchery group, and then the Business Witchery. And Viking Magic just started too. So many Facebook groups. Thank you all for joining today. Yes, they will be up on the blog. The replay will be right here, also up on the blog in a few days. Let's see here. And no, anything that we put out to date does not have an expiration date on it. I would hate to say like that as a forever thing, because there's a whole life ahead of me. But anything that is available as a last chance event or like any programs, the content is yours. We never like revoke it or anything like that. So there you go. Facebook groups, we will eventually can be closed and archived, but even those you can, if you're in them, you can always watch all the material that's in there. But the classes themselves never go away. They're always around. So yes, and hard to tell ego from intuition sometimes. Very true. I find that my ego is taking the wheel when I'm desperate for something. Like if I find myself in a financial circumstance and I'm like desperately trying to get out of it, then often that's like an ego-driven thing. Or the more I'm trying to get somebody or myself to justify something to me or verify that it's correct, that's probably my ego. My intuition is like, oh, I know, I'm gonna roll with it. The more, like if I call my mom and my sister and I talk to my husband about it, and the more advice I'm seeking, it's probably my ego. That's how I know. Jenny says, yeah, so many groups. They're all archived. Yeah, well, we took all of our classes, enrolled them into one program, our Holistic Witchery program. That's that idea of focus and vision. I gained exponential time to my week when we had one program, and that's Holistic Witchery. We do have other programs like our business program and things like that, but Holistic Witchery is that and Enchanted Journey. They're our epicenter. The epicenter of the Sisters Enchanted is around Holistic Witchery and Enchanted Journey. And of course, we have our astrology program too. I forgot about that. That's another group we have. Anyway, thank you all for hanging with me. And I hope that this helped you to vision your 2021. Cut yourself some slack on 2020. It's been a year. And so think about that, your vision, and start filtering through there. And I know that's a lot of stuff for a 1 hour thing. So listen through this again, get your worksheets, and take your time with it. We used to do this actually over days instead of one shot. It used to be over several days. So just listen and take some time with it. You don't need to do it right away. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here, and definitely check out those last chance classes, thesistersenchanted.com/last chance. And I'll see you all around the internet. Bye.